everybody, welcome to Talkulture. I am Kid Cadet once again, guys. I am joined by my fantabulous co-host. You may know him as the voice of Roadhog from Overwatch. It's Josh Petersdorf.
Boom, boom, boom. Stepping in the room with a bazooka tonight. Man, and after an amazing week of pro wrestling, we have an incredible guest for us tonight.
That we do, and it's also Thanksgiving week, so we're getting the celebration started early amongst friends. Josh, I guess you'll bring the mashed potatoes. I got the mac and cheese. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring out our guest of honor. He is the one, the only Dave LaGreca.
What's up, guys? How are you?
What's up? How's it going?
I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this ever since you asked me to come on, and this is a thrill. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's such an honor. I have to ask, do you prefer Dave or David, or is it interchangeable? What's the preference here?
You can call me Dave, David, LaGreca. You can call me whatever you want.
Okay, that should make things a lot easier. So, so one of the things just off the top, when you and I did speak, I guess it was last week or so, we talked about our mutual love for the incredible Alice Cooper, one of the greatest artists in the entire world. But I want to know, who is the first musical artist or first album that really made an impact on you?
It was Kiss and Kiss Alive too. I bought it in 1978. My mom gave me $10. I remember it. We were at Sears, and she said, buy whatever you want. And I bought Kiss Alive too. I still have it. It's still in pristine condition. I have actually.
I love this. Accessible.
Yeah, there it is. I love it.
It's almost like you are going to ask me this question.
I
So
swear.
it's the actual album I bought in 1978. You know, it made me fall in love with hard rock and heavy metal, but yep, this is the one. This is the one I bought at Sears for $10 in 1978. Kiss Alive too.
Wow, and in pristine condition. Well, let's see. I got my little doll.
Right?
But so, did you get the opportunity to see them this past go around? Because they canceled the show down here in South Florida.
Yeah, I got to see them just before the pandemic at Madison Square Garden. So I've seen them not nearly as much as I've seen Alice Cooper, but I've seen them a bunch of times throughout the years, and they always put on a great show. So yeah, it was awesome. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I know they did unfortunately just cancel their residency in Vegas, which a lot of people are looking forward to. You know, I don't know the reasoning necessarily behind it, but you know, hopefully all is okay.
Can you imagine Gene and Paul's penthouse in Vegas, by the way? Just insane. You know, he's like, I want the best suite. I want the corner room with nothing but the fountain's view every fucking night.
It would
Maybe
make
that's why they canceled, because they didn't like the room.
They didn't like the room.
That sounds like Gene, right?
Really? Yeah. It does sound like Gene. That's very Gene-like.
It's so sure. Gene. Did you watch the recent documentary that they did, History?
I did. I did. I thought it was really good. I even watched New Year's last year, the concert in front of people in a hotel. So, pretty much like that was probably the most eerie concert that I have ever seen, where they're done with their songs and there's absolutely no crowd noise at all. It was bizarre.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, they go from playing at the biggest venue. I mean, I think they had one of the most, was it the most sold out show ever in Brazil, to that has to be pretty jarring for any musical act.
It was depressing watching that show on New Year's Eve. It was depressing. It's like, this is what we've become. We're actually watching concerts on TV in front of no audience and people behind plexiglass in their hotel rooms. It was like, I wish I didn't get it, because it was so depressing.
It was some dystopian shit, man.
Yeah, man,
sure.
It was crazy, God. Crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. And I had the opportunity. I've met Bruce Kulick and I've met Vinnie Vincent, but I haven't met, the other guys. So hopefully in the future, maybe once they stop touring, they'll start doing conventions. Who knows? But
this is no lie. I'm telling you, can ask my wife, Violetta.
Okay.
I ran into Ace Frehley last night at ShopRite. Like, I said to my wife, I'm like, that's Ace Frehley. And she's like, no, it's not. That's not what it was. And it was. There's Ace Frehley at ShopRite. I'm completely and the manager of the store, noticing that Ace was in the store, over the loudspeaker started playing New York Groove. honest to God story last night. Yeah.
ShopRite is like, is this an East Coast chain like Ralph's or Albertsons on the West?
Okay.
Yeah,
it's an East Coast chain of grocery stores. Yeah.
Pardon my West Coast ignorance on that.
That's what I was wondering. I the stores that you just threw out there to compare, I had never heard of either.
Okay.
So I just said yeah because I figured, I go with it.
It's probably the equivalent. Absolutely.
So did you get a talk to each at all?
Yeah.
Or was it?
I did. You know what? I did the whole like, I'm going to make it like I'm not stalking him, but I was stalking him. So like I was telling my wife, we got to get waffles. No, we don't. We don't need waffles. Yeah, we do. We got to go, so
we need waffles.
We need waffles.
I did the whole thing. Waffles. I was like, do they always play your song when you come into the store? And he was like, what? And I was like, the song, do they always play it when you come in the store? He's like, huh? And I was just like, okay. But it was,
how crazy is that?
And then his wife was like, yeah, they do that every time we come in there and they play New York Groove. So
you go to the cashier, you're like, the lights dim, sparks fell from the ceiling. I didn't understand what was happening as he exited. He had like a full exit. Just
I noticed, Josh, funny, other than the manager that was at the store at the time, because this was at night. So like every cashier was like 16 years old, 17 years old. They don't know who Ace Frehley is. So it was like I was the only person in the store that recognized him. And he was probably like, oh, God, I thought I was going to be able to get out of here, just pick up my shit and get the hell out of here. And here comes some crazy Kiss fan.
But, like, isn't it the thing, though, when people stop bothering you, that's when you should start getting concerned,
I agree. I love when fans like are, fans of Busted Open stop me. I mean, it happens in the most random place. I think it's great. And but it's true. Like when they stop recognizing you and they stop asking for a picture or an order, that's when all right, something's wrong. So
yeah. Do you get stopped in the Eggo waffle?
I did get stopped at ShopRite once. Somebody came up to me and said, "Are you Dave LaGreca from Busted Open?" But usually it's just at a wrestling event. Other than that, nobody ever recognizes me unless it's a creditor. Other than that, I never get stopped. That's about it.
Fair enough.
The calls have mounted in recent days on my end as well. For some reason, I feel like the telemarketing is at an all-time worst. It couldn't have been any worse than it is right now because I'm getting I don't live in my old area code where my phone is, so I know when they try and trick me, like, oh, we're calling from the 925. I'm like, no, you're not. I don't know anyone there. They all think I'm dead. All right, no one calls me from my area code. No one. All right, so you're giving yourself away with all this. Well, and similar in the area. I'm like, no, none of that shit works with me.
Unless a name pops up on my phone, I don't answer it. Unless I see Josh. Then I'll answer. If I don't see that name, I'm not answering the phone.
You're out. Fair enough.
If it's important, they'll leave a message. If it's important, you'll leave a message.
Text. Yes.
Text. Right.
Yeah.
So none of you, I was going to say, neither of you guys want to extend your car's warranty. I needed to ask before we move along. You guys are good? Okay.
Oh, I get that call maybe every other day in the last, 18 months. Every other day I get that phone call.
I get the student loan one. It's always, and I'm like, I didn't go to school, so I'm self-made. I was like, sir, what are you trying to say?
I graduated a long time ago.
I was like,
School of Life, Josh.
I owe nothing. That's School of Hard Knocks, okay? The School of Hard Knocks. Dave, you're a huge fan of Alice Cooper and Kiss, and I feel left out that I have not. I don't have as many cool Kiss memories as you guys do. But what is like the favorite, song or album from one of those that you can listen to no matter what, that puts you in a great mood from either besides the album we just mentioned? Maybe an Alice Cooper album, maybe. Well,
yeah, my all-time favorite album is Welcome to My Nightmare. I remember listening to that for the first time. I'll never forget. I went to Merry-Go-Round at the mall. It's a store that obviously doesn't exist anymore. Oh, no, it wasn't Merry-Go-Round. The Squared Circle was the name of the record store in Paramus, New Jersey. And I bought 2 albums that day. I bought Metallica Kill 'Em All. And this was 1984. I bought Metallica Kill 'Em All and Welcome to My Nightmare. And Welcome to My Nightmare, I was just taking a chance. I wasn't sure if it was anything I was going to like. It was really Kill 'Em All that I went to buy. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget putting on Welcome to My Nightmare for the first time. Just sitting in my room and just like, there was nobody else in the house. My parents went away for the night, and I was by myself and out. I put on that album, and man, it gave me goosebumps. And every time I hear that opening bass line of Welcome to My Nightmare, I get that same feeling like I've been listening to it for the first time. But Welcome to My Nightmare, my all-time favorite album.
Yeah, same here. And I feel like he played a lot of tracks off that on the most recent tour.
Yeah.
Right. And I appreciate that, because it's not that I don't like his newer stuff. I respect his newer stuff. But, you know, I do appreciate, you know, more like Welcome to My Nightmare. And I think my favorite song is Cold Ethel.
Cold Ethel's a great one. I love
it's a
Cold
good
Ethel.
one. Yeah.
And I'm with you. Like I like the new album, but and this one I'll probably get roasted online about. I love solo Alice more than I love the original band. And like, nobody ever says that, but I really enjoy the solo stuff more than I do the stuff from the original. And I love the original band, but
sure,
I really like 75 On more than what he did before.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What a gentleman he is too, because
oh my God, like the nicest guy, John.
Yeah.
Nicest guy.
I have the Wayne's World story. Like, you know, when they meet him in Wayne's World, he's like, you know, very educated. When I met him, it was back at a Galaxy Con, and I walked up like, hey, may I have? And he was like, absolutely, please, just let me step aside and come in here. And I was like, oh, you know, like, and there's this amazing picture of me and him, and you see the joy on my face. Like, I'm standing next to Alice Cooper right now. So I have nothing but what a class act.
Everybody has that story. And I remember the first time I got a chance to interview him, and I've interviewed him a few times, but I always, like, whenever I do an interview on Busted Open, I don't write out questions, but I have notes, like certain bullet points of things that I want to hit with the guest. And I didn't have anything for Alice Cooper. And my producer was like, don't you have any notes? And I was like, dude, are you kidding me? I have been waiting to do this fucking interview, you know, for 45 years, you know, like don't worry, I'll be fine. Like, I got a million questions. So
yeah, he's wonderful. And I think the reason why I am such a big fan is what you just mentioned too, Josh, is because he is a wonderful human being. And, you know, unfortunately, you do come across some people in any industry that are not so nice, but Alice is one of the good ones. He's one of the
like when you go up to Ace Frehley and ShopRite, you know.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, Alice is sensational. He has the best band in the world. We were talking about Nita also. She is just such a gem. Ryan, Roxy, all of them just. I'm glad we get to talk about this, Dave, because it's like, it's not every stream that we get to talk rock and roll music and, you know, Kiss and Alice. So this is such a nice change of pace. So thank you for that.
No, whenever I get the opportunity to talk Alice, because for somebody who's a Hall of Famer and a legend, I just don't feel like there's enough about him. There's not a lot of books written about him. There's not a lot of documentaries. Like, there's so many bands that have been talked about to death. Kiss being one of them, you know, like Led Zeppelin, like those bands have been talked about so much, but they don't really talk about Alice. So I'm glad that I jump at any opportunity to have a conversation about him.
It's a great point. He definitely holds an aura of mystique about him still to this day, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a shroud of mystery around, and I think that's on purpose, because, you know, you got to protect, right? Obviously, he has his life and his Alice Cooper life, but I think that's really cool that he's one of the few acts that's been able to hold on to that for a while.
Mm-hmm. And Alice Cooper, the act when he's on stage is different than Alice Cooper, you know, the man at home. And I love that that's how he like ends his show. And he's like, and Alice Cooper played by me. Oh God. Ooh, I'm living for it. Dave or Josh, have you guys watched Supermensch? Did you watch the documentary about his manager?
I did. Shep Gordon. Great. Yeah. Great documentary. I loved it. I had the chance to meet him, and it's just like he says in the documentary. Like, I saw him on the street. Like, I just went up to him and I'm like, oh my God, Shep Gordon. And he like took the time to, like, you know, chat for a few minutes. Cause I mark out, like, you know, I talk to so many different wrestlers and stuff, but like, there's just certain people that I like completely mark out for. When I saw Shep Gordon in New York, I just like, I ran up to him like I was like a little kid. He must have thought I was insane.
I actually took his master class last year. That was like one of the things I splurged on during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
He's just, I mean, so cool. I love the fact that he not that he's necessarily put the music behind him, but now, you know, his big focus is being this 5-star chef and getting everyone to Hawaii to, you know, have these dinners, and you're not allowed to talk shop there, but he's just, I would love to meet him in person. That's on my bucket list for sure.
That's so cool, man. That's all good. It's good that you treated yourself at such a tough time. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to, but okay. So outside of, let's say, Alice, Kiss, let's say that you're having a day that's just, you know, one of those days. Maybe it's a Monday. I don't know. Is there like a song that you listen to and it can instantly turn your mood around? You're just like, you know, when I put on that song, I'm happy again.
This is going to sound like a crazy one. And I actually, this past weekend, I was in Texas because I had my final confrontation with Thunder Rosa in Texas this past weekend. And we were in the car traveling to the Southern Star Brewery. And I was singing in the car James Ingram's "Just Once," and it's on Twitter. It's on my Twitter. My wife actually filmed me while I was singing that song, and that's like one of those songs that throughout my life I just put on when I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed. I put that song on, and it just changes my mood.
It's a good choice.
Man, you know, you mentioned who you were driving to see, and your feud with Thunder Rosa. How are you feeling after being the incident that happened at the brewery? Obviously, something that we have. I think production. Are we going to run the clip?
Yeah, I think we have the clip. There it is. Let's relive the moment.
So it's a little tough to watch. A little unexpected.
Yeah, you think?
Right? Yeah.
Oh man. Oh boy.
Clean up.
I like how that guy throws the paper. He's really mad at that paper.
That's a lot of cans.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a lot of cans. And as a matter of fact, like, hold on a second. Yeah, I still had one in my pants.
Oh my god.
I wasn't able to get out, but there it is. Yeah, it got stuck up there, Josh. What are you gonna do? I thought it felt a little uncomfortable when I sat down to do this, but yeah, that was. But you know what? It started about a year ago because she made a promise that she was going to wear a Dave LaGreca T-shirt on NWA, which she did not do. And then I appeared at Mission Pro Wrestling, and it was their first sellout, their biggest house ever. So I wanted to hear 4 words from her. I wanted to hear thank you for the biggest house, and I wanted to hear I'm sorry for not wearing the Dave LaGreca T-shirt. And that's how it started. But you know what? I got to be honest. After that, on Saturday, she apologized, and she thanked me for all I've done for her in Mission Pro Wrestling. So now we're best friends. So now if you go on my Facebook page or on Twitter, I post a picture. The next day on Sunday, we went to the zoo together. We went to the park together. As a matter of fact, we sat down and had somebody do like the character.
I saw
together. So now we're best friends. We're best friends now. So there you go.
This is great news.
Yeah, isn't it, Josh? Like after a year of pure hatred, the fact that we're now best friends, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Nothing that a little aluminum agony couldn't take care of. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you have to bite the bullet, right?
There you go. It's a Christmas miracle or Hanukkah, either way.
Well, you know what? Thanksgiving. You know, and now is the time to give thanks. I give thanks to Thunder Rosa. Mm-hmm. There you go.
And of course, I mean, I think we'd be remiss not to mention her huge success, like, of course, with Mission Pro, also in AEW, formerly NWA. She is just killing it.
She really is. I think she's one of the best wrestlers out there. I'm not even just talking female. I think just technically one of the best wrestlers out there. I'm looking forward to what she does in this tournament, and I'm hoping she wins that TBS championship. And I think it was a great hire by Tony Khan because I think and really my match of the year is the match that she had in March against your AEW women's champion right now, the Dr. Britt Baker. I thought that was the DM. Thank you, Josh. DM.
Wanted to make sure. Don't forget.
We don't want to get sued. Yeah,
I think that was the match of the year. Seriously, I thought that was the best match, and they killed it. And I think it elevated Thunder Rosa. I think it elevated Dr. Britt Baker to another plateau. So awesome.
Win-win situation
match
for both. I agree.
Yeah.
Great work in the match.
Yeah.
Win-win situation for both. Thunder Rosa maybe wasn't as known on that national stage, and to have a breakthrough debut like that only strengthened her spot, I really think. And it feels like that belt's kind of designed for her too, a little bit, almost like, you know, it's time, and she's the perfect person to put it on, I feel like.
But that AEW women's division, because that was, you know, a lot of fans thought that was the weak part of AEW, but now I think it's one of their strengths. I think that women's division is very, very strong right now.
Yeah, I couldn't, you know, agree more. And I love Chris Statlander. I'm really hoping that, you know, she gets a really big push soon, and fingers and toes crossed. Okay, so Vincent wants to know, how did you get into the mindset to prepare for something like going through those cans with Thunder Rosa?
Well, listen, not to give anything away, because I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, it's all real. You know, like and it's so funny. I was asked this question last week about nerves, and I really don't get nervous. Like, even before a big show, or even coming out with you guys today, I don't get nervous. I get excited. Like, I really get jumpy. Like, before something big, I really start to get the shakes. Like, I've had a lot of caffeine, and I just can't wait. I'm like a little kid on Christmas. Like, I really love that time to shine. And and you know what? I'm 50 now, so I don't care. Like, you know, when you turn a certain age, you just don't give a shit anymore. Like, you know what? I go to the store with sweatpants and dress shoes on. Like, you get to a certain age where I don't care. So I'm really at that point. So that mentally prepares you for just about anything.
Do you have like any insight on how I can be more like that? Because I get so nervous for everything. Like, I can't help it. I understand that it's like 1 degree from excitement, and of course I'm excited, but I'm a terrified human.
I think it depends on the person, because I you know, when I used to teach communications, I used to say, if you get nervous, that's good. Like, that means you care. That means you really care about what's about to happen and about your performance. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to channel those nerves into doing something positive. So there's nothing wrong with you getting nervous, because I really feel that that's a signal and a sign that you really care about what you're about to do. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I get excited. Some people get nervous, but don't let it cloud your judgment. Like, just don't overthink it. I always tell people, like, and I was even preparing for a show that's going to air very soon. I can't give it away, but I think guys are going to really be surprised. There's something big on the horizon. Ooh. And I remember saying, like, hey, do you want to prepare? Do you want to go over this? And I hate doing that. No, let's just wing it, because that's when you're really going to be yourself. You know, like, before we sat down and talked today, we didn't have a conversation. You didn't tell me what questions you were going to ask, because then it's going to go through my mind. I'm going to be like, all right, what should I say? Should I phrase it this way, or should I phrase it? When you just do it off the cuff and on the fly, you really get the true essence of what you're talking about. So, to answer your question, don't worry about it. Be nervous. There's nothing wrong with being nervous at all.
Okay, good. I'm going to hold you to that, because I can't help it.
Great advice. Well said. Well said, Dave. Well said.
Josh doesn't get nervous. I can tell Josh doesn't get nervous.
You know, in voice acting, it's a little different. The avenue I came up with, or came up rather in the industry with, because that's kind of what makes you special is that feeling of nervousness, that feeling of excitement. And I guess the greatest analogy I ever used to it was, it's kind of like turning a switch on. And when you go into the studio, Heather, you know about this, to record music even, you got to turn the switch on and be able to produce what you were belting out in your shower at the karaoke scene in the studio at that time. And it's the same thing with kind of voice acting and performing. I feel like in general, when it's time to turn the switch on, it's like, it always happens. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
putting your faith in the switch sometimes is all you need to have faith in, because you're like, I'm going to perform. I'm going to go out there. It is what it is. I do also a lot of improv, working at a theme park currently, because I've been doing the Transformer show. So every day is about, who knows what's going to happen. We're cutting live promos on people. Every day is Megatron, and we never know what they're going to say. And I live for that, because that like you said, Dave, you're doing something right when you have that feeling and you care.
Yeah, and I cut a pro before that incident where I went through the cans. I cut a promo on Thunder Rosa, and my wife Viola said, "What are you going to say when you go out there?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like usually all I think of is the first line. Like I just need that first line to, like you said, that's like my on switch, is that first line. Once I get that first line out, then I'm going to take it. Then that's my takeoff, that's my green light to go. So I'm with you, Josh. Like, that's the beauty of it, right? That's the art of it. That's why we love what we do, is because of that creative freedom that gets your juices flowing.
Preach. Love it.
Preach.
So, okay. Let's talk Busted Open a little bit, if that's cool with you. And obviously, legends like Mark Henry, Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer. Is there another legend whose insight you would love to have as an additional co-host, or not necessarily a co-host, but just their insight?
Ace.
Yeah.
You know what? I love the guys that I have. I mean, Bully, Mark, and Tommy. It's like an encyclopedia, and all three of them are different. Bully is just a creative genius. You give him an idea, and he'll take it, and he'll just make it better. Tommy's that grizzled veteran that can't let go of pro wrestling. It's just his love. It's his passion, and he eats, sleeps, and breathes wrestling. Mark is reminds me of my best friend. Like, Mark is my good friend. Like, other than my dad, he's probably one of the most influential men in my life, Mark. That, he's just and I feel like just like a bond with him, as far as we share the same sense of humor and same, like, it's like a brother from another mother. That being said, like, to answer your question, I would like to get more a female perspective. I'd love to get more, like, somebody, whether it's a permanent host or somebody that comes on like as a regular guest. And I'm kind of working on that with Renee Paquette. We have
lovely.
Renee Paquette has another show that's on our channel, and she's starting to get involved with Busted Open and doing a regular segment. Maybe even a little younger, get somebody that's from this younger generation of pro wrestling to get that perspective, because myself, Bully, Mark, and Tommy are all the same age. So I'd like to get, that younger perspective, because diversity, not only when it comes to race, but diversity not only when it comes to gender, but diversity when it comes to age. Like, I think all those things are extremely important, because I want Busted Open to appeal to everybody, not just a certain type of person, but every person. And that's not even just like a key to success. Like, all right, Dave wants that because that's going to open it up to a broader audience. Well, yeah, that's part of it. But I want to be able to speak to everybody, and I want to be able to learn. I want to be able to, because, somebody who's 20, 25 years younger than me, they might learn from me, but I'm definitely going to learn from them, because they're going to give me a perspective on the product that I don't see as somebody who's older and has been watching wrestling all his life. So that to answer your question, I can't say of a specific person, but I definitely want to get more diverse. Definitely want to get, a female perspective. Definitely want to get a little bit younger as well. I think that's really important to anything. Diversity is the key to everything. I mean, I think that's one thing we all should have learned during the pandemic, is like, we got to start opening up our minds and not being closed-minded, but being open-minded to different cultures, different religions, different points of view. Like, that's just like the mentality that every person should have. And it's definitely a mentality that I want for this show.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. And
Awesome.
thank you for saying that. We did have Mark on here, I think it was about a year ago, and we were singing show tunes because listen, that man can sing.
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like we need to see him in a version of Little Shop of Horrors. Like, let's make that happen. He is, he's another person. Same with Alice. He's so wonderful and kind. Big fan of his. So.
Yeah, Mark and I, and we've been on the air. In April, Busted Open have been on the air for 13 years. We've been on the air since 2009.
Congratulations, man.
And at our 10-year anniversary party, which was the Saturday before WrestleMania 35, and we had it at a bar called Habanero Blues, and we had 750 people in attendance. It was awesome. But to close out the night, Mark and I sang the theme to the Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend. And he was wonderful. Voice of an angel, that Mark Henry.
Now, which Golden Girl would you say he is most like?
You know what? I mean, I would say, and this is going to sound like a cop-out, but he's a little bit of all of them.
Okay.
I think Mark's a combination of all of them. How about that?
Perfect answer.
If not Blanche. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking Blanche. What's the Blanche? Southern Belle.
That is an interesting remake, I would like to see.
Yeah,
Josh, do you want to ask one more question, then we'll go to our game?
Absolutely. You discussed your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers and tag teams. But what is your Mount Rushmore of celebrity appearances in wrestling, maybe?
Oh, celebrity appearances. This is a good question. Just by pure athleticism and what they were able to do and not embarrassing themselves, you got to put Bad Bunny on there.
Okay, good one. Yeah, Bad Bunny did. Yeah,
phenomenal job. Pat McAfee. You got
Pat McAfee too. Love to hate him. Love to hate Pat.
Yeah, I love Pat. Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor has to go on there because WrestleMania and what he was able to do with Bam Bam Bigelow. And selfishly, because obviously Alice Cooper has to be in there for the appearance at WrestleMania 3 with Jake the Snake Roberts. So that's my Mount Rushmore of celebrity. But I will say this. It's not going to be called the Mount Rushmore. It's going to be called the Cyndi Lauper. Because Cyndi Lauper, who's not in the WWE Hall of Fame, which I think is a shame, it's not Mount Rushmore. It's called Mount Cyndi Lauper. And no celebrities would be on that mountaintop.
I do a really good impression of Cyndi from, what is it, WrestleMania 1? She's like, she's pulling her hair. She's pulling her hair. That's my Cyndi Lauper impression.
That's actually really good. Because she's got that thick New York, New Jersey accent that's phenomenal. So, yeah.
Why is she not in the Hall of Fame? I'm confused. Is there like a...
I don't know. I would love to know. That's something that we talk about all the time on Busted Open. Whenever we talk about the Hall of Fame, you can name any wrestler you want. The first person I mentioned is Cyndi Lauper.
She should be in that wing, no doubt, right? Celebrity wing, no doubt.
Josh, I'll make the argument, and I stand by this argument, that if it wasn't for Cyndi Lauper, there would be no WrestleMania.
You're 100% right. She sold the entertainment value of it. She added the pop culture vibe to it. She was hip. She was hot. She was happening, trending. When trending wasn't a hashtag, she was legitimately trending throughout the world. To have her and Mr. T, the combo of them was, I think, it was the seal. It was the deal. It sealed the deal. When all molecules combined, for sure.
Appeared on Piper's Pit. That started the brawl to settle it all that type of stuff. The appearance on MTV.
The thing with Captain Lou and the whole,
And that ignited the first WrestleMania, and there you go. So some people will say Hulk Hogan. I say Cyndi Lauper. That
is mind-blowing. My world has been changed.
There you go. See?
Chat saying she should have been the first celebrity induction ever. Absolutely.
You know what? Who said that?
Jude.
Jude, yes.
All right, Jude. There he is, right there in the corner. I agree. I think that Cyndi Lauper should have been the first inductee in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. I agree.
Well, putting it out there in the universe. Cyndi Lauper for the Hall of Fame.
I agree. Let's keep it going. We got to yell about it. We got to tweet about it. We got to get that trending, as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania this year.
True. Well, all right, Dave, we have a game. Are you ready for the game of Would You Rather?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so this is Would You Rather. There's no wrong answers.
Well, I didn't do it, so we won't ask.
Oh wait, do I have to do it too?
I don't know why I do that. My hands just they're like, hello. I don't know why that happens. I apologize. I'm gonna sit on my hands now. All right. So anyway,
Stop it. No.
I talk with my hands.
I just felt jealous. You didn't tell me. You have to tell me when we're gonna do it, and then we'll do it together.
I feel like I have to.
It's more powerful together.
Okay, you're right. We'll work on our coordination. All right, Dave. No wrong answers. Here is the first one. Josh, you want to read the first one?
Absolutely. Dave, would you rather be part of a Jim Cornette creative team, drinking Sprite all day, or be part of a Vince Russo creative team in Paramus?
You know what? This is an awesome question. Both Jim Cornette and Vince Russo have been on Busted Open many times. I love them both in different ways. Because Vince Russo backs me up on the argument that we have about The Honeymooners is a better show than Andy Griffith. Don't ask me how we got into that argument, but it's an actual argument. And believe me, there's a lot of people that take Andy Griffith, which I do not understand. Honeymooners is one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. But that being said, I would rather be a part of the Jim Cornette creative team.
Okay, good answer. Good answer.
Is it a good answer? I don't know. I don't know if it's a good answer or not.
It's your answer. It's a good answer.
Yes,
it's the right answer. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather go back in time and interview Lou Thez or go back in time and interview Gorgeous George?
Wow, that's a great. Lou Thez is on my top 10 wrestlers of all time. If I have a list, I have a lot of. Josh, I have a lot of top 10 lists. A lot of top 10 lists. And Lou Thez is on my list of 10 of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. That being said, there is no doubt that I would go back in time and interview Gorgeous George. One of the reasons why is I love the movie The One and Only with Henry Winkler, which is loosely based on Gorgeous George. So you know what? Having watched that movie like 100 times, I would go back in time and interview Gorgeous George.
Okay, good answer. Also correct. Good answer.
I don't know if it's correct, but
it's correct.
That's what I wonder if both Thez and George knew how prolific and iconic they would be years later. You know what I mean? How they would be staples of the art form known as professional
live forever. Right? They will live forever.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Moving along. Would you rather put your head in the Alice Cooper guillotine or wear the Franken Alice outfit?
That's a great question too. I would want to put my head in the guillotine. But I don't want to get my head cut off. And I know that it's safe and it's probably not possible, but I would still rather wear the Franken Alice outfit. Because it would be kind of cool to be, you can move around, you'd be on stage. Like I'd wear the Franken Alice outfit.
Okay. Good answer. I've had my head in the guillotine, and that was a very scary experience. But
good for you, though, Head. That's awesome.
No.
Yeah, I do hear, yes, that the Franken Alice outfit has a very distinct smell to it, is what Nita and Ryan have mentioned. So,
wait a second. Can I change my answer?
Sure.
I put my head in the guillotine.
Okay.
If you notice, I have a very big Italian nose, and I get certain smells. I get nauseous. I get headaches. So I'm changing my answer to I'll put my head in the Alice Cooper guillotine.
There you go. Change the answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you for that information. If I didn't know that, I would have gone with that. And who knows what could have happened?
Who knows?
Scary,
all right.
Scary.
Who knows? All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather your Survivor Series team be made up of Attitude Era wrestlers or your Survivor Series team be modern era stars?
Oh my goodness. It's Attitude Era wrestlers. I mean, come on. Look at that team that you have there.
Yeah, right.
There's no doubt, no disrespect to the current era of WWE superstars, but I'm sorry. I'm going with the Attitude Era.
Yeah, no question there.
Good answer. Good answer. All right, next one.
Dave, would you rather go back in time and attend Woodstock, or go back in time and attend Live Aid and see Freddie wail, Jimmy squeal?
I will say this. I would go back. This is the no-brainer.
Okay.
I would go back in time and go to Live Aid. And no disrespect to Freddie Mercury. I mean, that's one of the great. I always say that performance by Freddie Mercury and Queen at Live Aid will never ever be duplicated, because if you go back and watch it, everybody's nowadays it would be this. Everybody would have their phone out,
right? Yeah.
You could never duplicate that moment. That being said, I'm going back to see Priest, who was in Philly that morning. And also Black Sabbath that was in Philly that morning. So I'm going back in time to see Live Aid, and I'm going back for Priest and Black Sabbath.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer. All right. Here's the next one. Oh, I love this one. Okay. Would you rather compete on The Amazing Race with Bully Ray as your partner, or compete on Password with Mark Henry as your partner?
Okay.
Why Password?
we were thinking of shows, and I just feel like they would be great at Password.
I'm gonna say this. This again, no brainer. I'm competing on Password with Mark Henry. Because I've never watched an episode of The Amazing Race, but just the name makes me tired. And Password is probably the second best game show of all time, next to Match Game. So I am going to go on Password with Mark Henry.
I love Match Game so much. Oh my gosh.
It's great. It may be one of the greatest shows of all time. Forget about game shows. One of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah, Richard Dawson. Oh my God, obsessed. Betty White, of course. But that was another pandemic binge watch.
Yeah,
they're on Amazon Prime. You can go back and watch. I believe they have 78 or 75. One of them. Yeah. So
Charles Nelson Riley, Heather. Nelson Riley is made of the and I'm a big fan of Fannie Flagg. So you give me Fannie Flagg, Charles Nelson Riley, Dawson, and Brett Summers. I'm good to go.
Oh,
good to go.
Man. All right. Classic. Love it. All right. Next one, Josh.
Would you rather eat a Thanksgiving meal in a can, the old Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner, or would you like to eat a turducken?
It's a turducken.
Turducken is fire. There's no question.
I mean, I'd eat a turducken. There's no choice there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a really good picture of one there too. That's very appetizing.
I'm now looking at that. I'm ready for a turducken. I'm not eating a Thanksgiving meal in a can. That is not happening, and my wife would be very upset if I did that. So
now they have the cake in the can. The cake in the can is a little different, but no Thanksgiving meal in the can.
No Thanksgiving meal. No.
It's jellied. Ew.
It's jellied.
It's disgusting looking.
What you do is you peel the layer back and you take a needle and you take the top layer and you can inject it as actual it's Botox in your face because it's liposuction.
All right, wait a second. Because of Josh's information, I'm changing my answer to eating the Thanksgiving meal in the can so that I can get the extra layer to because I need to get some Botox.
Okay.
So I'm changing my answer to the Thanksgiving meal in a can. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah,
absolutely. Free botulism. Come on.
Yeah, it would save me a lot of money that I can put to my extended warranty in my car.
Especially during the holiday season. You got to save money during the holiday season.
Money. Yeah. All right. I like that. That reasoning is fabulous. All right, we got two more of these. Here we go. Would you rather interview the first musician you ever met as a fan, or interview the first wrestler you ever met as a fan?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm trying to remember the first musician I met as a fan. Interview the first musician. You know what? I'm going with the musician, even though I can't think of it, because I interview wrestlers every day. So I'm gonna go with the first musician that I ever met as a fan.
Okay. Well, when you remember, you let us know, and that'll be.
Actually, I just remembered Eric Singer. Eric Singer was the first musician that I ever met as a fan.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Good one.
And I've never interviewed him, so I would love to interview Eric Singer. There you go.
There you go. All right. We have one more. This might be one of my favorite would you rather questions of all time. Josh, take it away.
Dave LaGreca, Busted Open Radio. Would you rather Change your name to Dave LaGeca for a week. LaGeico in there also. Or change your name to Dave LaGreca for a week.
Okay. This is true. I used to work with the amazing Gil Brandt on NFL radio, and he used to call me Dave LaGreca. So it became a thing. So a lot of Sirius XM brass still call me Dave LaGreca.
The wrestling guy, LaGreca.
I have been called Dave LaGreca for about 20 years now. So you know what? I'll change my name to Dave LaGeca for a week.
Okay. And if you could see, you are photoshopped inside of that gecko. So that is you in the gecko.
That's given me a lot of potential ideas.
Okay.
For what I could do for Halloween, and also to spice up some things with my wife, with extracurricular activities. So actually both these pictures probably would help me spice up things with. So you know what? But I'm gonna go with the LaGeca for a week.
Right. And you're welcome. So, okay, great.
You guys are givers. You guys are awesome.
Thanks. Thank you. It is Thanksgiving. Before we
do the accent,
let you go,
she says, do the Geico accent too.
Do you have any plans for Thanksgiving this year? Any traditions that you typically celebrate?
My wife does Thanksgiving here at our home. She's preparing as we speak. She's up there preparing right now. That's why I'm so glad that you guys asked me to come on today. I don't have to get involved in that. But, we have it here, so my whole family comes down for here. So Thanksgiving is actually my favorite holiday. I love Thanksgiving.
Oh, wonderful.
Football and food. I love pumpkin pie. I love turkey and stuffing smothered in gravy. So I'm a big Thanksgiving mark. So I'm looking forward to Thursday. A
Thanksgiving mark. I'm obsessed. That is so great. I'm a mark for Thanksgiving. Now, your wife, if I recall, is she Polish?
Yes, she is Polish. She's from Poland. Yes, she is.
Is there any like Polish aspects or elements that you put into Thanksgiving, or is it just strictly like we're doing the turkey thing?
No, my wife definitely, like every other dish is something from like a traditional Polish dish that she prepares. You know, she's very much, she loves her tradition. She loves her culture, Polish culture. So that's definitely his influence in every holiday that we celebrate.
Yeah. My husband's
kielbasa, pierogi, you know, the whole thing.
Sausage.
Yeah. My husband's Polish, so I totally understand. I get it.
Honorable. That's why he's shouting out kielbasa.
Yeah, that's why.
He knows.
Well, before we let you go, is there anything that you want to leave us with here today?
No, I'm so glad that you guys asked me to come on. I'm a big fan. I follow you on social media. I think your show is absolutely fantastic. And you've had some great guests. And the fact that you asked me to be on, you guys, I'm very, very, very honored that you asked me to come on. And we are going to have to go to see an Alice Cooper concert together.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
You good?
Down.
All right, you guys, we got
Feed my Frankenstein. I'm down.
So here's what we'll do. Josh and I will come to New York and we'll see him like the next tour in New York. That'd be so much fun.
I'm down.
Yeah, if you're in New York, I'm going to see Nita on December 7th. She'll be in Brooklyn. I'm going to that show. I know that's kind of short notice, but yes, please. The next time he comes around, we definitely have to get together and go.
It's all happening. That is amazing. Before we do let you go, we want to go over our upcoming guests. Oh yeah, of course, listen to Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM and the Busted Open podcast, where your podcasts are available.
That's right.
And do we have our upcoming graphics, Jude? Okay, so next Tuesday, we have Kiami, who was in Matilda. I'm obsessed. Cannot wait to meet her. The following Tuesday, we have Jason Arby from the Power Rangers.
I gotta chew gum when we talk to him because he's always chewing gum.
Oh, yeah, right. And then we're welcoming back Edward Furlong, who's, of course, from Terminator 2. And then just added, we have Jeff Blue, who is a multi-platinum record producer from Linkin Park, Macy Gray, a lot of stuff, Korn, I believe. Yeah, so that's Limp Bizkit. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll get to talk music. Dave, we have to do this again.
By the way, I can't wait for Edward Furlong. I'm a big fan, so I can't wait for that show. He's great.
He is. It'll actually be his third appearance on here.
Wow,
Coming back. So they do that.
This will be my first time getting to chat with him, so I have some fun questions. I have some cool stuff to ask
Josh.
about. Yeah, I'm like, I just wanted to just remind him, like, he was like the Billy Badass of the '90s. Every kid wanted to be like him and have the side cut. Well, every kid at my school did, at least when we grew up watching that movie. And that movie, even when I showed my son who's 15, I showed him Terminator 2 a couple years ago. He was like, "Is that really a motorcycle in the creek?" I was like, "Yeah, it's when movies were legit, son." So. Shout out Edward Furlong.
He's a fun time. It's going to be a blast. But once again, Dave, thank you so much for making this happen. And until next time, until we see Alice, wishing you, everyone watching, a happy Thanksgiving. This has been
Happy
such
Thanksgiving.
a joy.
Thank you so much. Happy
All right,
Thanksgiving.
guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.